to Juliet Colors. My name's Juliet, and if you hear dogs barking, I have dogs. I'm also a dog sitter. So there's dogs everywhere. So we just keep on trucking through it if they start barking, I guess. I started this channel because I'm 42 years old and I don't know how to color. I realized that whenever I try to use color pencil on a coloring book page, it doesn't work. Like, I can't get it to look like anything. It just looks like scribbles. If I use markers, it just looks streaky and terrible. So I want to learn how to color so that I can be a better artist. I am in the process of practicing my drawing skills, because another thing I really didn't learn was how to draw. I mean, I learned how to draw. I could draw a cube and a house and 3D and whatever. But I never really learned how to shade things and make light dimensions and shadows and just darkness and light in pictures, whether it's graphite or charcoal or colored pencil or watercolor painting, oil, acrylic, gouache. I never really learned the basics of shading and coloring. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm taking some classes and I'm trying to learn, and then I'm going to color. I recently got a bunch of used coloring books so that I can start out, and I got a few new ones too. But I wanted to have a variety so that I could come in and just pick a book. I've gone through a lot of them and I've put tabs on them of pages I like, so I can just pick the book, come in and start coloring in it. So I don't have to think about it too hard to start. I also really love watercolor. So one thing I want to do is use watercolor as a base for a colored pencil. Hold on one moment, please. Fred! Shush. Freddy, shush. That's Fred. I'll show you him later. So I want to be able to use watercolor as a base for colored pencil. And another thing I want to learn is water-based markers and alcohol markers. I didn't really know there was a difference before the last few years, couple years maybe. And I want to be able to use alcohol markers without ruining my coloring books. So alcohol markers, if you are aware, you can't use them on double-sided papers. So if your coloring book is one-sided, one picture to a page, and nothing on the back, then you can use alcohol markers. If not, and you use an alcohol marker, you will ruin whatever's on the other side of that page. And you have to be careful with water mediums like watercolor or water-based markers, because those also can bleed through, but not near as much as an alcohol marker, from what I understand at this point in my coloring journey. I also want to learn like oil pastels, pan pastels, all those kinds of things. So I've been accumulating supplies so that we can play and we can learn together. So I'm going to do all my classes, do the work, try to learn as much as I can. Maybe one day we will learn how to color metal and another day I'll practice that in a coloring book and show you how I'm practicing it to see if we can figure it out and do it right. And then I want to be able to use these other mediums to be able to do these things as well. So colored pencil, watercolor, alcohol markers, pastels are my main mediums that I want to use. Acrylic too. And I want to do a lot of mixed media. So because my main goal is to eventually get to the point where my illustration and drawing, my sketching is good enough and my coloring is good enough that I can create pet portraits or people portraits. That's my goal. Why would I do this now at this age? So I was a software engineer. I live in a suburb of Denver, Colorado, which is Aurora. I worked for 13 years as a software engineer and then a manager in there as well for the last few years. And I loved it, but it was wearing on me. It was really taking a toll on me physically and mentally. I have fibromyalgia, and sitting for that long of a period, 40 hours a week, was caused me a lot of pain and a lot of issues when I came home. So I was just struggling to be able to keep up with my workload and be able to be healthy. Well, not necessarily my workload, but just being able to get to work. Because if you don't know much about fibromyalgia, it's a very debilitating disease. And it's like everybody says it's a catch-all for things when the doctor doesn't know how to diagnose you. Like a lot of people that have rheumatoid arthritis or lupus or autoimmune diseases, syndromes, things of that nature, often get bunched into fibromyalgia, or they have it as well. Fibromyalgia is basically a disease where your soft tissue, your fascia, hurts, and how they diagnose it is by pressure points on your body. And if you have so many pressure points of pain, then you have fibromyalgia. At least that's how they diagnosed it at the time that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. That happened in 2016 or 2017, I think. So then I decided that I needed to go part-time for work. I did that for a while, and then I decided that I needed to step back and assess what I wanted to do, because it was just really taking a toll on my body and my mental health to sit at work and do that job. So I thought about it for a while, and after having several pets that needed physical rehabilitation needs, and behavioral rehabilitation, I decided that was maybe what I wanted to do. So I volunteered at some rescues and some farms and some different places, and I also fostered a lot of animals, and I decided that that's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to be a veterinarian because, of course, those of you that know me already, you know I don't do anything small. I don't do anything I go big. Whatever I do, I go big. It's just who I am. So, and I also would want to, I don't want to be bossed around all day long. So I wouldn't want to be a technician necessarily. But I did decide to go to veterinary technician school before vet school because I didn't want to go and take all the prerequisites that I needed in chemistry and biology so that I can get into vet school, get through vet school, and then realize I hated it just as much as or not even that I hated it, that I couldn't do it just as much as I couldn't do my other job. I was hoping that being able to move around more during the day would help and I would be able to do that job. So while I was in school, I was actually almost done with my associates in animal technology and animal science and technology at Bel Ray, and I was in a head-on collision car accident that really changed my life a lot. My ankle was completely crushed, and they had to try and pin it back together. I had an external fixation on my ankle, which is where they have rods and pins and screws on the outside of your leg to hold your bones together. I was in one of those for 9 weeks. I was in the hospital for 11 days. I had 7 broken ribs. I had a broken wrist. My left knee was broken. My kneecap was broken. And my right ankle was crushed. In addition to all the bruises and everything else that I had. And I did have a neck injury, but at that time it wasn't obvious yet. So I decided that, well, before that even, I applied for disability because it was becoming very obvious that I was not going to be able to be a veterinarian because I would have to work half-time or less. And so I thought it best that I apply for disability. And then this car accident made it even worse for me. I kept on trying. I tried and tried and tried. I went back. So I was in my last semester or quarter of classes. Actually, it wasn't even classes. It was a preclinical, and a few classes that I was in whenever the accident happened, and then all I had left was my internship. I eventually finished that preclinical on crutches and on a knee bike or a wheelchair or whatever I needed that day. But I was never able to finish my internship. Every time I started and tried, it wouldn't even be 3 weeks working 20 hours or less, and I would need time off because it was just too much for my body and how my body was acting with all the additional injuries from the car accident and the fibromyalgia. So I did apply for disability, and 4 years later now, I finally am approved for disability. So I am officially early retired. So I need a hobby. I need something to do. Those of you that know me will know that I'll just go out and get myself in trouble if I don't have something to do. I'll create something to do, and who knows what it might be. So that's like, I love art and painting. Like it's so weird why I never learned, because I took art history classes, I took art classes in college, but I just didn't learn it, I guess. Like, I don't understand that. It's so weird. But so that's what I'm here to do now, is to learn, so that maybe I can do pet portraits and portraits for people, and just have something fun to do and share along the way. So if you're interested in coming on this journey with me, I can't promise that I'm gonna have a video every week or whatever yet, but I hope to have a video every week so that we can learn together, practice together some different techniques that I might learn and pick up. And I will say, I want to thank Happy Catastrophe, the YouTube channel, and she's also on Instagram, Happy Catastrophe. Sister, oh my gosh, Candace is her name, and Sister Min Bao, I think is her name. She's a Buddhist nun. She brings me so much joy when I watch her videos. I just want to thank her because her happiness is infectious, and I appreciate that. Same goes for Christy Rice, which her channel, her watercolor channel, Paint Crush Christy Rice, she has a website where you can buy products. She's also has Patreon. You can go on Patreon for her, and she has her YouTube channel and, you know, Instagram, all the things. She's also very infectious, and she's very good at teaching and like showing you how things might work, and following along and doing watercolor. In the coloring land, they call it a color along. I can't remember what they call it in watercolor. I guess we just paint together in watercolor. So I appreciate her, and I appreciate her joyfulness and her enthusiasm for her art, and how, you know, how beautiful it is, and how much it means to her and to her contributors or subscribers. She's really the reason why I got back into this. I just came across her one day while I was scanning through YouTube, doing nothing, sitting on the couch, probably looking for a book to read. I don't even know what I was doing. But I came across one of her shorts or something, where she was talking about watercolors, and I was like, oh yeah, I learned that a little bit before. Maybe I should try that again. Looks like fun. So I really do appreciate her. She really started this journey, helped me start this journey. Also, I want to thank, I cannot remember if it is Disney Meg or Jamie Colors. Is it Jamie's Colors or Jamie's Coloring? I can't remember. One of the two talked about the way they were recording their coloring books and keeping track of what they colored and the books they had and what was colored in each and how many pages they had done and whether they were finished, and they were using the Bookshelf app, and I really appreciate them mentioning that, because I have been able to organize all the coloring books that I got, which, if you know me, you know I'm crazy and I go big, so I got a lot. I got a lot of used coloring books. So some of them have stuff in them, a lot of them don't. They're just a little dinged up. But most of them I got for like less than $4, so, or like $5. So that was a great help. So then I can just pick what I want to color and do it. And then I also have, I'll be able to have money to go on Etsy and the other and eBay and find real, I shouldn't say real, but other artists that have their stuff not on Amazon, and I can go and get their products as well. So that's nice because I like art. I like pictures. I like looking at it. It's all a work of art, all of it, and whether I color it or not is enjoyable for me to look at. So that's what I'm here to do. And I know this was long, a little chatty chat, but if you want to color along with me, join me next week, and I will try and make some shorts. If you could comment on this video about things you want to see, things you want to learn, things you want to talk about, because while I color, of course, I'm gonna talk. Probably, I'm thinking I'm gonna talk, because I mean I don't know for sure, but probably. But let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about what's affecting us in our world today. What's making us happy or sad or depressed or whatever it might be. I mean, I really unknowingly to me, I was in a really deep depression whenever I found Christy's channel, and this adventure into watercolor and coloring has really brought me out of that depression, and I really appreciate it. So I hope to see you next time, and please comment and let me know what you want to see, what you want to do. Thank you. Share the video with anybody you think you would like to join us. Bye.